I love you, man, but I'm just going to say this. One of the things that I find to be the most irritating about the sports talk shows is they listicle everything of like, and I thought this comment that you gave was great of just because you say you like someone, it's not a zero-sum game. It doesn't mean you dislike somebody else's game. But what they do is they really make it this one bucket type of winning. Who right now the obsession is LeBron. You know, it's always this LeBron, Kobe, MJ debate ad infinitum. But to me, the older I've gotten and I've been in different parts of my career, I've been cast on a show. I've had my own show. I've had my own like tours. I've done specials. Now we're in films, pre-production on films, casting people in films. I'm realizing the game is so much longer than that. And to me, real winning is it's not just the points on the board and winners and losers. You know, during the pandemic, everybody was watching The Last Dance and they were like, MJ's the ultimate winner. And I'm like, what window? And by what metric? To me, the real winner is Steve Kerr. In my opinion, what are my buckets that I'm classifying this as? Professional satisfaction, personal satisfaction, sanity and clarity of mind. Bro, I don't have to say this. You watch some of these clips of these guys that played on the Bulls, you're like, man, bro, get it together. Like clarity and sanity in your mind. The story doesn't end well for a lot of these guys. And to me, Steve, what he's gone through, his father was killed, murdered as a young kid. For him to go through that, be a bubble player, be a role player, be a GM, and have a meaningful, healthy relationship with his children, with his spouse, that to me is the real like winning. And I don't think we look at winning as this 70 to God willing 80-year thing about the story of your life. I'm starting to get gray in I'm not what I was when I was like 25, and that's okay. But I think about Bina and my kids and my role now as a producer, director, writer, and those things. I'm like, yeah, I hope the totality of that is defining what it means to win. And whoever frames the message, that's what we value in society. So now that you're a member of the media, and I was, working in media for years, how you frame that is really important. When Walter Isaacson had his books, Jobs, in 2009, 2010, that really shaped what winning was in entrepreneurship and business. And to me, I was like, wait, is that winning? Like, you have an estranged daughter, you lose touch, but fine, I got the iPhone 6. Like, we need to have a holistic thing on what it means to win. MJ, Last Dance, he's the ultimate winner. During what years? We're talking about 84 to 98. So we're not going to include that little Wizards run. We're just not going to include this run. We're not going to talk about, I'm not even going to get into the personal stuff. That's not fair. But we know what I'm talking about here. To me, that's the totality of this. God rest the dead. I remember reading Kobe Bryant's Players Tribune letter. He writes about family and cutting people off. Man, there's a lot of pain in that. There's a lot of pain in that letter towards their siblings and family members and loved ones. And there's part of me that's like, there are so many kids I know that got Kobe 6 Protros from the top to the bottom shelf. And they wish they could cut their own finger off to be Kobe. And I'm like, would you also trade in the fact that like there were years he wasn't on speaking terms with his family? That's also part of the deal too. Because I've been a fan. I've always played that game. I wish I could be that person. So when you talk about Mamba mentality, is that part of it worth it too? And I think that is not being talked about in the winning conversation. And so I hope when it's all said and done, people remember me, that not only like the jokes that I told and the stories that I told, those check and make muster. But when Bina, Najmi, Seema, Aisha, and my children talk about me, and my cousins and my uncles and aunts talk about me, they're like, yeah, man, he was a really good, solid person through and through.
That was beautiful.
Sorry,
that was great. And look, I think, I'd have to re-listen to what you just said. I might tend to agree with all of that. And we brought this up earlier. But when I think about Dame a lot, because Dame has stayed in Portland, and he hasn't been to the NBA finals, and he's signed these extensions, and fans have their opinion of that route. And he has talked about the fact that he is a winner and is winning at life. And I'm like, I'm the biggest co-signer of that. And I was never that good. I knew I was never that good. But there was a stage in my life where winning a basketball game was the only thing. It was the only thing. It's what kept me up at night. And at some point, and it wasn't right when I had Knox, but it was certainly in that era of turning 29, 30 and growing up a little bit. I reframed what winning was to me.
Yes.
And I was a much happier person after that. And I think the listification, as you called it.
Yeah, the
like,
ESPN.
It
Bron
gets
better
clicks.
Than Kobe,
No, it gets clicks and it gets views, and it fills airtime, right? It fills airtime. But you can't tell me Damian Lillard isn't winning. He's not a winner, right? It's the rings culture. It's just not, it's not healthy, but guys that have great perspective on it, I think can deal with the criticism.